So can you start us off with prayer before we go?
What should what did the prayer be about?
Um, we just pray that we don't say anything stupid, embarrass ourselves, embarrass God. Um, just if we're wrong, if somebody come at us in the chat or somebody come at us in the comments, that we're giving grace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Could be wrong. So
Lord, we pray that we don't say anything stupid and that those who disagree with us on some subject of ours that we speak about, that we can have a civil discussion about it and not flip out and attack them. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 All right. And okay, so this episode of Peas in a Pod, we're going to get into uh like a little bit of stuff. We're going to touch lightly. The episode is called She Man and He Woman. So first question up to bat is, do you guys know what the patriarchy is?
No. Patriarchy, no.
Okay. So the patriarchy is a term that is used, it's been around for a long time, but it is essentially a term meaning that men rule the world. And the idea that men should rule the world and men decide everything. There's a patriarchy and a uh, uh, um, uh, matriarchy, right? Matriarchy is the women, right? Motherly figures, women run everything, and the patriarchy is the man running, right? Paternal figure, maternal figure, right? So in a situation where you have no man in a house, that house is run by the matriarchy, right? Whether it be big mama, big auntie, whoever. And the patriarchy, the grandpa, the dad, you know what I'm saying? That person runs the house. Follow me? So
Mm-hmm.
the idea of the United States has been built on the patriarchy. Big, big, bad, whoever this is up here, this man decides how the world works for the rest of us who live here. Okay. And a lot of what I knew growing up was based on this idea of patriarchy. So I'm supposed to open doors. I'm supposed to pull out chairs. I'm supposed to stand up when a woman enters a room. I take my hat off when I walk into a building. These are things that are known as traditions, uh, based solely on the patriarchy. Why we do these things? Because somebody from a long time ago said we were supposed to, for whatever reason. Um, and the the traditional sense of it is we do these things because they are right. Follow me?
Right.
Okay. So, along with the patriarchy, there's the idea of what's called a double standard. And men and women have different have different I'm gonna just keep it a being, right? Men and women have different jobs and different things they are supposed to do, right? We don't waste time trying to find the right words. We just say what it is. Um, uh there is this thing called the manosphere. Have you guys heard of that yet? Or is that just on my
No.
okay.
Manosphere.
The manosphere. Have you guys heard of mansplaining?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so mansplaining is basically like the manosphere of thought, where you see guys who have podcasts who will say, you know what, as a man, if my wife ain't pregnant and taking care of all the kids and coming home and cooking, as a man, you shouldn't be spending that much money doing your as a man. So that's you'll hear a lot of people who speak like that. That is the thought from the what's called the manosphere. And those are men who are caught up in the patriarchy of life. Um, and the whole idea of this episode is to basically gauge my two sons' real understanding of like how unsafe women are in the world. And are they, in this case, women, are women safe around you or with you? And do you even know what that means, or do you even think they need protection?
Is that would you like to start? Or
Yeah. I definitely think they're to be protected, but at the same time, the level of double standards between the genders is very flip-floppy, right? Like, a man can have a thriving football career, he gets accused of sexual assault, it all disappears, right? But that doesn't work the other way around. You know what I'm saying? So women are, of course, worthy of protection, and they kind of birth our kids, but at the same time, there has to be at some point an equalization of like social power because people don't care about how men are feeling. They only care about what they do. And society only cares about what women think and not what women do. So it's a lot of inverses and not a lot of equalization.
yeah, I can definitely agree to that. There's a lot of things that don't necessarily intertwine when it comes to what we as people should really do, because there's obviously the speculations and the assumptions that men are supposed to be this obviously protective figure, but in those cases when they can't be, you know, there comes up the constant loop of, well, can you really consider that a man, or then it's a boy amongst men kind of situation. And then a lot of the times when men are trying to break out of that standard from the boy to men kind of bracket, it comes off as, aggressive, or what's the term we're looking for here? Toxic masculinity. It does get to that point when people start to see, well, he wasn't always, this aggressive or this assertive or this dominant as we as men try to portray ourselves to obviously give off that we are protectors, we are providers, we do what is necessary so that we can, get by and our families will be okay. But at the same time, it's like they try to twist the over extent of that masculinity back on us, you know? So the double standard when it comes to that is when obviously a guy can just go out, be a regular dude, but maybe if he's sitting with his legs too wide, then he's mansplaining or or man spreading, whatever they like to say, or when a guy is trying to interpret information that he could have gotten from anyone, doesn't even have to be a woman. Now he's mansplaining it in his own terms versus him actually putting it in his own words so that he can cognitively understand what it is that's going on and what he has to accomplish as an assignment. So when we see, women day to day, we go out, try to portray ourselves in the most respectful manner, because anything we can and say can easily bounce back on us. And then even in terms where, oh, he touched me, or, oh, like sticky situations, especially with a lot of these bigger influencers and whatnot, like last episode, the women and men definitely do have a big divide, and there's been many different shows. Like there's been 20v1, like 20 women, one guy, and then one woman, and then 20 men, and then there's a whole separate bracket in the views and the like counts, and especially in the comments there's more. I'm seeing a lot more toxicity just off of the base of it existing versus, oh, it's only like that because she's a girl, or oh, he's only doing that because he's a guy, and the blue and pink of it all.
Yeah.
What you was gonna say, Pizzo?
No, I was just agreeing.
Well, I see your points. So I'll ask a few questions. Do you think men and women are equal?
Mm.
Yeah.
PJ, do you think men and women are equal?
I mean, in terms of us as people, yes. Like in general speaking, yes. There's nothing that I could do by myself that a woman probably could not do. Not any woman could do, but a woman could probably do anything that I could do. But when it comes to how we live, and this could be an American thing or world spread, we're getting a vast amount of treatment based on who we are, just as guys and as women. So when you're asking, are we equal? If we're talking about how easy it is to just live, I would say that women do have, the more exterior benefits when it comes to, guys trying to pick up jobs and, just trying to 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 go around and actually portray themselves as respectful versus when a woman tries to pick up a job and she's either turned down because they're not thought of as highly in the mind, or she's not physically capable of whatnot. But in actually every day that I go by, I see more women in construction, more women, you know what I'm saying, actually doing the heavier lifter jobs. We're seeing mechanics that are women as well as doctors. And yeah, in the full brunk in the full break of it all, we are equal as people.
Okay. Um, yeah, that's y'all keeping it real with how y'all feel. I I don't think you either one of you probably, maybe it's because you guys haven't been around long enough um to understand how uh difficult it is. And from your perspective, especially with what you're getting on your algorithm, it seems that maybe women are winning in life, right? Like it feels like to
They're
you
kind of winning. They're kind of winning.
uh I don't think so. From my perspective, from what I'm seeing online, I see what I see online is a woman walking down the street, walking out of a club. A guy tries to talk to her. She says no, and she gets hit with a brick. You understand what I'm saying? I see a woman just walking out of the grocery store, Vaughn's, Publix, Kroger's, wherever it is, the Piggly Wiggly. Guy asks for her number, and she's scared to not give him her number because if she doesn't give him her number, he could kill her. He could unalive her, right? And that's not a fear I have to be afraid of. You understand what I'm saying? Um, I might have to fear police. You understand what I'm saying? But uh I don't fear I don't fear a female officer. You understand what I'm saying? So the way that history goes is the patriarchy has made men believe that it it is not fair to be a man. We are under this umbrella of like woe is me and we don't get to do this and we don't get to do that. When in fact all the way back to 1600s probably, even when Queen Elizabeth um was the queen, um it still was a man's world, right? To quote the James Brown song. And I think what's happening is because women are now, and this is going to sound crazy, so don't kill me. Because women can now vote, right? They can be politicians, they can be construction workers, they can be influencers, they can get a mic just like a man can get a mic. They're speaking up for themselves because they've been oppressed for very long. Being a woman, women just got their rights in
They did.
1960, y'all.
They just did that. That wasn't not longer than 60 years ago.
Yeah, so like it's hard, and I get what y'all saying. Like it's some of the things are imbalanced, and I'm not advocating for imbalance at all, right? I'm just saying from my perspective, I don't think women have it easier. It's if we go down to black women, you so it's like the white man controls everything, right? White man control everything in the United States. That's what I'm speaking of. Clearly, because the United States, because we're in the United States. White man controls everything, and then next to the white man is the white woman. Then under the white man and the white woman is the black man. Then under the white man, the white woman, the black man is the black woman, right? Or and I'll say black and brown because of the climate that we're in right now. All the folks of color are underneath them, and even the folks of color, the blacks and the browns and the reds and the yellows, even there's infighting amongst them, right? Um, of all, right? It's just the men fighting. The women are still on the bottom of those.
Oh,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So the issue is we have some bad apples. Just like with police officers, we have some bad cops. And just like with women, and just like with men, we have some bad women. We have some bad men. So I there's a baseball player, I forget the young gentleman's name, whose whole career is over because a woman made an allegation against him, ruined his career, and the allegations are false. Hugely fabricated and false. Not only that, they proved them false in court. And she is a criminal, repeat offender of claiming that XYZ happened with millionaire men, and this is how she makes her money or how she gets her get back. Zion Williamson is going through the same thing with this woman who people won't even represent because they're like, the way she's telling this story is kind of crazy. Um, but because there are bad cops and because there are bad women, um, it makes
Bad,
it. Go ahead.
because there's bad apples.
Because there's bad apples, I don't want us to feel like, oh, because you remember that one time that woman lied, and now now every time a woman says an accusation, you remember that one time.
It's always gonna be that one time.
You know what I'm saying? A woman lied. So how do we fix that if it needs to be fixed? Pizzelle, like how do we say if some girl calls me and said Pizzelle did something to her, what how should we fix that? What do you think? We should I know you don't have all the answers, but what do you think?
I feel like the only course of action that's possible would be like taking it as any other sort of accusation. Like said, say I stole something. If
Hmm.
there is no evidence towards me stealing that thing, then you can't prove that I stole it. Mm.
Well, that's the thing with men and women, Pizzelle. That's what I was saying. When you're talking about stealing a good, you talking not talking about going to the store and stealing a candy bar. You stole my purity. You stole my innocence. You came and SA'd me. How do we go about in dealing with that?
I do feel like, in terms of public protection, people definitely, well, it's hard. It's just really difficult because regardless if they were to carry or not, regardless if they were to have a weapon, they would need to use it, obviously. And in a certain circumstance, against a guy, that fight might actually be very, very messy.
So
And
so
it
you're
will
thinking,
get that messy in court as well when trying to prove, oh, he did so and so, he went and where, and this was the conversation had before. Like things like that are much, much harder to gather evidence on to prosecute any kind of situation that could have happened.
are you
It's dangerous on both sides. A woman could say, you know what I'm saying? He touched me, but a guy, she touched me. But there's a disconnect there because the guy would be looked at as like, huh, you're a chump. But when it's a woman like this is an actual thing. So it's a give or take. You feel me? Like it's hard for both sides.
I'm gonna ask y'all, has someone ever touched y'all in a way where y'all was like, I don't want to be touched by this person and I don't want to be touched this way? Whether it
Yeah.
was somebody you know or not.
Yes.
Nah,
Why do you think that's never happened to you, Pizzo? Well, I'm gonna get to you, PJ.
because I'm not a very touchy-feely person. Like whenever I'm like in the presence of another human being, I'm always out of arm's reach because I very much value my personal space. So I never allow someone to get within my bubble. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I believe that that hasn't happened to me before.
And PJ, what happened with you?
I mean, obviously I was much smaller, and it was like it wasn't I don't I don't like to think of it as something traumatizing because, in all honesty, we were just kids playing around. But a group of girls basically like jumped me and started touching my parts at one point. So that was definite. That could have just been as legitimate if it was the other way around. Because if I was a girl and it was a group of guys, then it probably would have gone very bad. So there was no real way I saw myself being able to even prevent that kind of interaction. I mean, with with what adult parental, like what it is today, and what it was then, they definitely cared a lot less then about what happened to, us guys versus what was going on with the girls. And I feel like that's really what kind of caught me in that kind of circumstance. I didn't really know them that well. I was kind of just bothered by the whole situation. And then even when it did happen, like I found myself trying to dissociate as if it wasn't. So,
When
and then it was even more impossible to talk about it to any of the counselors because then they were just like, you're a boy, go on about your business. And I was like, but that's so messed up.
when was this? Where was this?
Oh, this was at Urban League way back when.
And you talk to the counselors and they just kind of
They shoot it off. I'm not sure how old these counselors were, but my counselor was just like, "You're a dude. Get over it."
that's not okay.
It wasn't okay then.
That's
I
not,
don't see why it would have been okay today or tomorrow. But just like from a girl's perspective, it probably be 10 times worse for them, especially. Not only are they probably physically incapable of actually fighting back, I was physically incapable of fighting back, and I still didn't get any validation from being semi traumatized from that. Like, where's the evidence that I could actually grab to say, oh my gosh, I got jumped by a group of girls and they literally touched all over me? It's really hard. And even if I were to take that to court, like a lot of women do, like even taking that into court, you can obviously see based on body language, based on conversation, based on the evidence that will be brought up in court, they still might not even win.
yeah. Um, I don't know what is to win.
No, I mean like to
No, no.
either to be, yeah, yeah.
What does to win mean? Because I'm to take a moment and tell you that I'm very sorry this happened to you. Me being your father and me putting you in that program, um, and the counselor is not telling me, and then you probably didn't tell me because you felt like I was gonna have the same reaction the counselors had. It makes me it makes me sad, makes me upset. Um, it makes me feel like guilty a little bit. I don't know where that's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like it's my fault. Um, but the that situation should have never happened. It did happen, and you've been dealing with it kind of out here, right? And so you're I'm glad you're empathetic because you're like, if I dealt with it as a little boy, You know what I'm saying? How do girls deal with it? Because they're not as strong as me,
Exactly.
and they're not as protected as I am, right? And that's why I said before that girls don't necessarily have it easier when it comes to
Things like SA.
when it comes to making accusations. I think we've gotten a lot better as a society. Yes, it may not be the same for men, but as for women, I hope that women and I hope that little boys find it possible now, or find it more likely now, that they can step up and say something.
Yeah.
So my question is, and I'm asking both of y'all this: if a girl came up to you and said one of your friends, one of your homeboys did something to her, what do you do? So you can go first.
I don't I don't know what I would do because like I said before, without some kind of evidence, I can't blindly trust someone, right? Especially if it's someone that I don't know. So it's difficult for me to make a decision without some sort of catalyst or some kind of deciding factor. So what I most likely would do was just take them both into questioning and then decide who to believe based on what they tell me.
What kind of questions would you ask them?
Mm, how long have you known each other? Do you even know each other? And then do you like one another?
Do you believe somebody can get SA'd by somebody they like?
Obviously not.
Oh, you don't think so?
No.
You don't think somebody can SA their boyfriend or SA their girlfriend?
I mean, if they SA you, they shouldn't be your significant other anymore.
Well, to that point, he's kind of getting at like if you feel as though you've been sexually assaulted by your significant other, they
We
shouldn't
say
have you.
we say SA. We say SA because we don't.
Right.
Yeah.
If you get SA by your significant other, they probably definitely won't be your significant other after the fact, which is what he's probably trying to say.
Yeah.
So, because there are people who get SA'd by their family, by their brother and by their mother, by their father, by their uncle, by their stepdad. They're gonna still be their stepdad. I know women in real life, in real time, that I can call on my phone right now that will tell you, yeah, I got SA'd by this person
A
who's,
family member as
yeah,
well.
right. You can't you so there's an idea that I think a lot of people have, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but there's an idea that anyone who gets SA'd can just get out of that situation, right? Like if somebody is, like we talked about bullying in another episode, if somebody is just bullying you, just leave. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's just SAing you, just leave. Or it's not that easy.
Not that simple either.
It's not that simple, right? And yes, there is an option to leave, but these questions that you're asking, how long have you guys known each other? Do you know each other? Do you like each other? Those are the same questions that they've been asking women for the last 50 years when they get SA'd by their husbands, right? So
Hmm.
you don't necessarily believe that can happen because you're like, oh, as soon as he SAs you, leave. So there's a couple things you have to deal with. One, you have to deal with you just got SA'd, right? And two, you have to deal with this person who you are in a relationship with. Maybe got money tied together, maybe got tied, maybe got cars together, and you're
Maybe
you're
even
still very young. So for you, you can't even fathom a relationship where you have something tied up with somebody because you're 16. So it's like we got first period together. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Well, when you get older, the complicated relationships get deeper.
Yeah, because what I was picturing in my mind is just a boyfriend girlfriend situation. I wasn't picturing any like tied financial or marital stuff.
Right, right, right. But I'm not. That's for me to talk about. But for you, I want to ask, like, if some girl says, "Hey, Pizzelle, your homeboy did this to me," right? And she is not. Maybe she's not telling you for you to do anything, but she feels like she can't talk to her dad. She feels like she can't talk to her mom or her cousins or her brother or anybody. But because you are her friend and this other guy is y'all mutual friend, because the whole topic of this episode is, do women feel safe around you? Do they feel safe because of you? Is it safe to come talk to you? If this should happen and a woman comes and tells you, or a girl comes and tells you what happened to you, what do you think you would do? And how do you think you would handle it?
I think I would do my best to try and like I want to say de-escalate, but that isn't the exact word that I'm looking for, but like provide comfort and a safe space for them. If I of course 100% know that they're telling me the truth, that is.
How do you know that they're telling you the truth?
I don't. I provide a safe space regardless of whether or not I believe them, and any action that I take after that will entirely be decided by whether or not I trust this person.
This is your friend.
If it's my friend, yeah, then I'll try to provide a safe space and then look for some kind of redemption, or I want to say justice, but that isn't the right word.
Well, in a real case, there are no right words.
I mean, PJ, you could close us out because we got a minute. How do
Yeah, well,
you know, do women feel safe around you, or can they feel safe around you? Can they be safe around you?
well, to answer that question is to really determine how dangerous their surroundings could be without you. Now, if their surroundings are just as dangerous,
I'm talking
with
about you.
I know. I'm saying like say my friend, right? If she was asking if I asked her whether or not she felt protected when I was around, it would basically be based on whether or not she felt protected in the comfort of herself. Now, if she constantly feels like she's in danger, then that's already a big problem as it is.
You
With
don't
my
think women feel like they're constantly in danger?
No, I'm saying when they do, that's the first problem that should be addressed.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think women feel like they're constantly in danger?
I feel like yes. In a lot of cases, women do feel like they're in a constant state of worry and stress. A lot of it is tied to anxiety and
What did you say, nigga?